Welcome to You Are Not Alone. This is a safe place to explore all things spiritual and beyond. I am spiritual medium Erica Gabriel.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to You Are Not Alone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I am so excited for this episode. It was so fun to record this episode. We were in person, which is like, you know what? I love Zoom. I love Zoom. It makes my life go round. I don't care what anyone says. There is nothing like being in person. It's awesome. It is so great. So we got to sit together. So I have on this week my beautiful, special powerhouse guest, Lindsey Simcik. So first of all, let me just say this. Sitting with her, especially in person, is so cool because she's such a powerhouse and she's such a presence and she's so beautiful and tall and gorgeous, inside and out beautiful, you guys. Okay. So I'm not just like talking about her looks, although she is stunning, but she is just a beautiful person, a beautiful spirit, a kind soul. And like the way that she talks and just kind of looks at you and takes you in and communicates and connects is just really special. So she's also a friend, which I'm so honored I get to call her a friend. She's really amazing. Just as a friend and as a human. So she is the co-host of one of the biggest, most popular, most successful spiritual and wellness podcasts of all time. Okay? Of all time. I mean, that is huge. She started this podcast with her co-host, Krista Williams, who is such an amazing spirit. I just absolutely adore her. But she started this with Krista in 2016. So they really just kind of found this path of podcasting and created this incredible community, went on this incredible journey. We're going to talk about it in the podcast. And they also wrote a book. And I asked her, you'll hear, I'm like, so did you actually write this? You know what I mean? Which is like a cool thing because for me, I know when I finish my book and write my book, I'm going to record it. It's going to be all my content, but I'm not going to be the one that puts pen to paper. You know what I mean? So I didn't mean that rudely, but just like it's writing, if you're not a writer, is very challenging. But they wrote this book and it's called Almost 30, A Definitive Guide to a Life You Love for the Next Decade and Beyond. So it's on sale on June 3rd. So you are going to get it. If you want to get it now, you're going to get it on pre-sale. And here's how you do that. You're going to go to almost 30 spelled 30.com/book. Almost30.com/book. Okay. And you guys can just pre-order it. So here's what's cool about this book. It's called Almost 30, which is the name of their podcast. It's talking about when you're in your 20s, you're completely transitioning. It's about your Saturn return, which is a big shift and change, which comes in your late 20s. Okay. So I know that you guys are of all ages, right? We're of all ages. But it's talking about shifting, changing, wondering about what you're doing with your life. Who am I? What's happening? How do I take care of my body? How do I work with burnout? Learning about money, family, relationships. So yes, this book is about that shift in your late 20s, but I have been reading it. It also corresponds with being in your late 30s, being in your late 40s. It's really, really amazing. And, you know, she has done over 800 episodes of their podcast. She interviewed Jay Shetty. She has interviewed Mel Robbins. I mean, they have interviewed the top, self-help and spiritual voices in the world. So she has all that information and Krista has all that information in their minds and everything they've learned, and they put it into this book, Almost 30. So please pre-order it. Lindsey, I love you. I don't know if you'll listen to this. Do you listen to the podcast? I got to ask you that. I sometimes listen to mine. I'm definitely going to listen to the one that we did for your show, but that's another story. If you are listening, Lindsey, you are a very special kind of human. There's no one else like you. I am so grateful you came on the podcast. I'm so excited for everyone to get to hear you and be with you and listen to your expertise. Also, you guys, Almost 30 is a great podcast. Check it out. They have all kinds of guests on there, all kinds of guests. And I think you guys will love it. So here we go. Here is me in person and interviewing Lindsey Simcik, new author and incredible podcast host. Love you guys. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Hi, friend.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on You Are Not Alone.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure.
you.
I'm so excited for everyone to hear you. And, you know, it's so funny because I am so picky with who I have on my show. So picky. And I think it's because the reaction of the people I have on, like I had someone call me once and like, what the hell is up with your listeners? I went on a whole Goop cruise and didn't have as many people contact me after.
Yeah, wow.
So it's a really sacred community, and I know you have one too.
Yes.
So I'm so picky, and it is such like an honor to have you here and for people to get to hear you and to get to sit with you and look at you. We're together, you guys. Please watch
New York.
this. Yeah, we're in New York. Watch this on YouTube. So to get to be with you and be in your energy and just see you and just have this amazing experience that we get to talk. So thank you so much.
Welcome.
For
I'm honored.
having me.
I'm honored.
This is her studio. This is her studio.
Well, I was like, we need to be in person. There's really no other option because I just feel like, I mean, virtual is great, but with someone like you and we have a history and just a connection, you know, I feel like we're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. So I was like, we have to be in person. You're coming up to New York, sister.
Oh, it's so good. I'm like, get me out of the suburbs. Get me out of the burbs. Get me out of pickup line.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Get me out of pickup line. My times where I watch Netflix.
There's a part of my soul that can't wait for pickup line.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so good. And you're like, hi. Like wave to the other moms and like packing lunch. It's delicious. It's so wonderful. Good. So Lindsey has a 19-month-old.
Yeah,
a 19-month-old boy named Maverick.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, motherhood has like cracked me wide open. And I think I expected that to some extent, but you know, it's like on the daily thing.
Yes.
That it just cracks you open. And I talked to the author of The Power Pause recently. Her name's Neha. And she just describes like this feeling of when she stepped into motherhood as like, I just felt like myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I was so glad she said that because I was like, that feeling.
Right. It felt right.
It doesn't mean it's easy and that you know what to do.
Yep. Because
that's not what happened, but or still happens, but I just felt like, wow, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
With this child, with my husband, like in this moment, in this experience. And I haven't always felt that way. So it was just like such a coming home moment.
Like I've arrived.
Yeah, it really was.
I've arrived.
It is.
When I first had Asa, my son, when I held him and I saw what he needed just to survive, what he needed, the idea to me of kids that didn't have anyone were being neglected, it was almost too painful for me to bear. And so I was completely cracked open with love, but also overwhelmed with sadness for children. I felt so bad for him. I was like, oh, buddy,
you need
me.
You okay? They literally survive by not only what we can provide through our body, but like our love.
Yeah.
I watched something the other day, and it was a documentary about this man who was like given up, you know, the day he was, maybe a few days after he was born. And he had reconnected with his mom later in life in kind of this bizarre circumstance. And it wasn't like the happy ending. However, I just felt like you just described. I was like, to not have the loving touch and connection with your mother.
I know.
Ooh, and I know other people can be, you know, a mother figure
and
be a mother. And like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But there is like a biological, just energy happening when they're first born. I mean, forever, but I just think in those first few months, like I just can't imagine. But
yeah, it's so delicious. You know. It's so funny. The other day I was walking with Asa down the street, and now he's 12, and we're walking down the street, And you know when like you're walking with a kid and you like put your arm, like if there's a car coming, you're like, whoa, slow down or whatever. He did that to me. He goes, whoa, Mom, whoa, there's a car. And I was like, oh, yeah.
How old is he?
12.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, thank you, buddy. He's my height, which is not saying a lot because you guys know I'm 5'2", but yeah, it's great.
So freaking sweet.
It's so fun. You're just in the middle of such a huge transition, but where you've come from is so amazing. So you guys know I already told you that Lindsey is a co-host of one of the absolute most successful spiritual and wellness and beyond podcasts in the world. Yeah,
it's been a minute though. We've been doing this for 9 years.
I know.
And so like, I think a lot of people can see success and they're like, what was it?
Yeah,
like, how did it happen?
Yes.
And it's been a long time, and the space has changed and the industry's changed, but I'm proud because I think we've stayed true to our mission. We've stayed true to ourselves for the most part. We've had our moments, but like we've really stayed true to ourselves. And so I think, we're not like a Joe Rogan of the world, but I'm so proud of like our community and just how intentional and thoughtful they are and just how committed to their own growth that they are. I think that to me is like success.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And the messages you've been able to spread, the people that you've had on. So how did it start? I'm sure you've told this story a million times, but it's so good.
Yeah, let's bring it back. So I was living in New York City. 6 months after college, I moved to New York.
Yes. Okay.
And I spent 6 months at home working at a restaurant trying to save money to pay like my first few months of rent.
Yeah.
Which was a really purposeful time. My grandfather passed away during that time. I was meant to be at home. And when I moved to New York, I had secured, I think, 2 bartending jobs at the time. I would make it 3 soon after. And my idea was that I was going to bartend at night and audition during the day.
Yeah.
So I was a theater kid. I really wanted to be a Broadway star. I wanted to be a movie star, like all the things. And, working until 2 or 4 in the morning, slinging drinks and like drinking some of those drinks myself.
Yeah, 100.
Like I just wasn't my best, and it was hard. It was hard for me to kind of meet myself and be very truthful about like what I was not accomplishing. I was very accomplishment like focused for a lot of my life, being the best in theater and tennis and in school. And that was like a part of my identity. So when I got to New York, I just felt like I was in survival mode. I was trying to make rent. I was trying to make money, yet I was also trying to make my dreams come true and waiting to be picked by the next casting director. That feeling,
Yes. Choose me, pick me, love me.
And it was that waiting, that like kind of made me rot. I was just like, it made me feel less empowered than I really was. I had the power to choose. So fast forward, I was like not treating my body well. I was working my tail off. I was, getting no's left and right auditioning. And then I found around the corner from me on the Upper East Side, I found a fitness studio called Soul Cycle. And I could not afford these classes. They were like $30, $35 a class. Should not have been in my budget.
That's a lot.
It's a lot for someone who's like trying to like make rent. Like
100%.
You can't just like go to a fitness, It wasn't in the budget.
I really remember those days. Like
of just like, feeling, but I would go and I would just charge it and figure it out.
Yeah.
But that would be my moment to have peace, reconnect with my body, move my body, just feel good. It was like this feeling of, oh, wow, I forgot I can feel good.
And like accomplished. I did this start to finish. And like, that's what's interesting about theater people. It is such like we practice and then we do it and you get that applause and it's complete.
Yes.
It's like that feeling of true accomplishment. So it makes sense. You were feeling like
full circle of like, So I would like work till 4 in the morning and then go to a morning class. And I started to get quote unquote good at it. And I would ride in the front row and eventually was asked to ride on the podium and became friends with instructors. And long story short, I auditioned because they were like, you should audition. I was like, I don't
need another audition.
I don't need another audition. I don't need another job. And they're like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Yeah. So I did. I made it, and I went through the training program, and that allowed me to quit my bartending jobs and eventually moved me to LA. So they offered me a job in LA. So I'm in LA again, still struggling to pay my rent and just figure everything out. Moving across the country is no small feat. To plant your roots again, create community. It's a lot.
Where did you move in LA?
So when I first moved, I moved in with two of my dear friends. They have a house in Sherman Oaks, and they took me in for I think 2 months.
Okay.
Which was really nice. And then I moved to Venice Beach.
Oh wow. And then how many years ago was this?
This was 2014.
Okay, so it wasn't that bad at the time. It had been cleaned up. From when I got to LA in 98.
It wasn't it had been cleaned up. I think now again it's kind of going through a little bit of a moment.
Well, LA is crashing, but that's a whole nother subject.
Yes. I think it was a moment. I thought it was so cool. I was living by the beach. Cool. I was in a studio apartment. The weather is amazing.
That is cool.
It was really cool. And I felt really grateful to have SoulCycle as a job, when I landed. So that was security. But overall, I just had felt like I had lost the plot of my life. I was like, what are we doing? Okay, so you're a bartender, and then you're a fit model, and then you're a SoulCycle instructor, but you want to become a famous actress, but you're not really giving your all in auditions. What is going on? And you are single, and you're chasing after these duds. What is happening? You had overall a beautiful upbringing and education. What is happening? I was so hard on myself. And during this time, I was connected to Krista. She also wanted to become a SoulCycle instructor.
And Krista is co-host, you guys. I don't know if I said that, but yes. So Krista is co-host of Almost 30
Yes,
podcasts.
she's my co-host and one of my best friends. And we met at this intersection where, both of us were going through it. She wanted to audition for SoulCycle, make it her dream, all the things. So I helped her with the audition. She didn't end up making it, but we were connected. So that was the gift out of that. And she was in New York at the time. Eventually she moved to LA with her then boyfriend. And when we met, it was oh, this is easy. This feels like home. This feels comforting. We were going through so much. And to be able to go deep with someone right away, to share what we were going through and feel not alone, we were like, whoa, this is the next level of friendship. I think we had kind of been with friends who were by proxy. And it was kind of on the surface for so long. So this felt like depth.
It was spiritual.
Yes, it was definitely spiritual. We've been together many, many lifetimes. So she came to me one day when we were sitting down in Santa Monica at a cafe, and she's like, do you want to start a podcast about what we've been talking about? And I'm like, I don't really know what a podcast is.
100%. I didn't know what it was when I started this in 2020. How embarrassing is that?
No, but totally.
I didn't really. And I'm like, where do you get these? And they were like, there's a purple microphone on your phone. If you go there, they're in there.
I know.
Wow.
It was that for me. I was like, wait, what? She had been listening to podcasts for years. It was kind of her way of just scratching that itch of I want to learn more, even though I'm in the corporate world and kind of hating it. So I'm always down to create something, regardless of what it will become. I've created so many things that have never seen the light of day, but I had a blast doing it, and it was so worth it. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. I have a $15 recorder in my drawer at home. Let's just start recording in your closet because it has great acoustics. So that's what we did. We were in her closet in her Venice Beach studio next to her boyfriend's basketball sneakers, and we couldn't breathe. There's no oxygen in there, no light in there. But we just talked, and we kikied for 6 months, just practicing, if you will. And then 2016, September, we were let's just put it out. Let's just start and see how it goes. And we did that, and it was really scary. It was really, really scary to like put ourselves out there, sharing very vulnerably what was going on in our lives. Probably too much. But
that's what people love.
People related right away.
Yeah, because you were going through that transition, and like, you know, what we were talking about was like your podcast, Almost 30, it is about transition in so many ways. It's so many things, and learning and wellness and spirituality. But like where it sprouted from was this huge transition and crossroads you guys were at in your lives. And like, you can be in that transition in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, you know what I mean? 100%. And that's what's so powerful is like, I know you probably have a lot of listeners that are maybe in their 20s, but I guarantee you have all ages.
Oh yeah, all ages.
Because you talk to so many people, and it's sprouted out of sharing change. You are not alone.
It's true.
The name of our podcast.
I know.
Yeah, but it's true. It's you are not alone. You know, like you were saying, it's not just, you know, you're not alone spiritually. It's like there are others out there, and you guys have tuned into them, you know?
Yes. Yeah. It's been such a gift. I think they've been just as much a part of our healing as like we have to each other. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, from there, I mean, it was an adventure. I think what was cool and what I want to use for myself in the future whenever I start something new is like, there's so much unknown when you create something new, and you just have to take the next step. Like you might be
right step.
Yeah, and I think we can get caught up in what right means. I think right is just what feels good and exciting. What lights you up? What excites you when you think about it? So for us, we were like, we want to meet people in person. I mean, we were a baby podcast. Like we didn't know if we had more than 20 listeners. But we really, when we thought about it, we felt excitement. We were like, yeah, that would be so cool. So we had an event at SoulCycle and did a ride, and 60 people showed up. So we were like, okay. So along the way, we really trusted that feeling of like, let's go on tour.
Yeah, right.
No one was asking for us to go on tour.
Yeah.
Like,
you created it.
We were like, let's go to Sydney, Australia. And we did. And then we went to London. We toured the US. Like, we just followed what felt really fun and exciting. And it created just this momentum that I can't explain.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's less about like marketing and the strategy. We were just like,
let's go for it. Well, it's so cool because you guys were being really authentic.
Yeah.
You sat in your closet floor and were like, oh, let's like talk. And I feel like that is what can be missing sometimes when people set out to do things, is that authenticity.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to do this like for money, or I want to do this for that. And of course there should be, I want to create income.
Sure.
And of course.
Yeah. I know what you mean though.
Yeah. Like I feel like, you know, you guys listening, like, I know all of us so well, and all of you guys so well. It's like we've talked so much about just like going back to your why. Why am I doing this? You know, why am I doing that? I do that almost every day when I go to sit in my office and do readings, because I can get off track and lost. And what am I doing here alone, talking to dead people by myself, you know, in my office? Totally. And it's like, why, Erica? Why? Okay, I'm serving God. I'm serving Spirit. I'm here to serve. Okay. And like you and Krista's why was connection, and to make sure people didn't feel alone. You're like, well, let's go and do that in Australia. And people were like, yes, we want to feel not alone.
Yes.
We want to feel connected.
Yes.
And it caught.
Yeah, it was such a cool time, because that was when, you know, podcasts were still really new.
Right.
And the industry was such a wild west, and not everyone had a podcast. And we were, I think we just hit a really beautiful sweet spot in the industry's life. And I think what we did really well is, one, we focused on community. That was everything to us. And a lot of podcasts don't. I think they stay behind the mic. And
so like community, like you went out and met people?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We would have events. We went on tour. We held retreats. Like we kind of did the most in that way, because, and even though it wasn't like
It's interesting.
It wasn't making us the most money. Tour didn't really make us money.
Right.
But we found that like connecting with people in person is unlike anything else. To actually like have a one-on-one conversation with a listener, with someone who's like really been impacted by Almost 30 in the content, and hear from them their story, and then how they feel leaving an event like that, just having been witnessed, you know, maybe they shared something vulnerably. They just feel great. So that's like, our job is done and I'm so happy. And then also they're more likely to tell people about it.
Totally.
So I think we also found that our organic growth happened there. You know, is in
From
that
people
in-person.
spreading it and being in person and people spreading it and feeling connected to you guys as real people.
Yes. Because, you know, we're not people when we put on an event that we have like handlers and like we're like not with the people before and after the event. We're like setting up the chairs at this point, and we're hugging every person that comes in, and we're having like 10-15 minute conversations with each one. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
Doing the most, but knowing that it's like, this is what we're here for. You know, we're not
Totally.
We would love, you know, big podcast fame, but also this is, I think, the shit. Like, this is, I think, what's really, really important.
Do you think that all of your acting training was setting you up for this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course. I mean, I can't think of it in any other way. Like, I so desperately wanted to be a working actress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you may still. I mean, I have to tell you
still.
about my husband's path.
I literally need to hear
I have to tell you everything.
I'm
You may
so curious.
Not that you have to or that you need to now, but like
I always said, I was like, I'm going to be like cast as the mom when I'm in like my 40s and 50s.
Yeah, I think
you
so
know?
too. I really feel that.
But I also, and no shade to anyone who's an actor or actress, I just feel like the industry is off-putting to me right now.
Oh yeah, it's wild.
So I'm feeling super like thankful, you know, that my path kind of zigzagged a little bit away.
Yeah.
I have so many friends on that path, and I have so much respect for the like dedication, the resiliency,
getting so many no's and having to create a whole nother life around it. And I know.
I respect the crap out of it. Like it overwhelms me because I'm like, wow, I don't know if I have that. But I think for me, podcasting really allowed me, well, actually SoulCycle first allowed me to express myself, to be big, to take up space, like to create an experience in the room. It was a performance.
Yeah,
but it was genuine.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm being myself.
Yeah.
But I'm being big, and I'm like conducting the energy of the room and supporting people. Like it was scratching that itch. Yes. And then the podcast was like another form of that, of using my voice, of my stage presence, of understanding the technicalities behind a podcast, because I kind of had that in my back pocket. So yes, and I think this is what people need to know if they're in a place where they feel like they're not in the job that they love, or they're not on the career path that like lights them up. I hear you, and I've been there, but where you are now is so purposeful for where you're going. It might not make sense. When I was bartending at 3 different bars and working until 4 a.m. and like unwell.
Yes.
I was learning how to, you know, work with people and communicate. I was learning how to treat my body. You know, I was kind of experiencing the contrast, but like I was learning that in that time. I was learning how to negotiate, you know, like there were so many things that were happening, and hustle and work hard and handle a lot of cash at one time.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God. Yes, totally.
But it's just so fascinating to look back and be like, wow, I learned so much there. And then I took it here. And then I learned so much fit modeling. And then I took it here. And at SoulCycle, I learned so much. And then the podcast. Like, it's a zigzag of all zigzags. Yeah. But it makes sense in retrospect.
It makes so much sense, and it brought you right to where you are. Yeah. And how many episodes have you done?
By now, close to 800.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's wild.
It's wild. It's crazy.
Let me ask you this before, because I want to talk about the book. But so out of everyone you've ever interviewed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know. And this is like such a mean question. It's not mean, but it's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Who have you sat with that you were like, oh, damn, this just shook me? Or like, this person is like other level energy.
Yeah. There's been a few.
And they just walk in the room and you're like, oh, oh, hello. And maybe there's been people that have been too much, or, you know, maybe a little too intense, or.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, there's like a few different flavors of answers that I could share with you, but I think when it comes to presence and just like captivating a room, and not in like an egoic sense, it's just like with their energy, John Wineland stands out to me.
What does he do?
He does men's work. He works with women too, but mostly men. In, you know, their relationships, in their own inner healing. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting down. Yeah, he's wonderful. And he has a presence where like you just sit up straight. You're like, whoa, okay, this is like masculine embodied. And it's
wow.
But not in a way where he's like muscly and he's like, you know,
or mansplaining.
Obvious. It's like he is breathing into his belly. He's sitting up straight. He has both feet on the ground. He is so present. Like present in a way that like almost makes you uncomfortable because you're not used to it. You're just like, whew. So I would just remember him, we were talking about something at the time. I was just dating all the wrong people and probably sleeping with all of them too. And he was saying, he's like, it's important that you don't let anyone in, literally in, until they truly see you. And I was like, oh God. I was like, I've done that many times. But it was just like one of those like moments it was like where I was like, that was for me.
It was like a lightning hit.
Yeah, I was like, wow, thank you. Like that rings so true for me. And it wasn't judgmental. He was just like, you deserve to be, you know, truly seen. And like we kind of went on to describe what that meant. But he is one that is just captivating and powerful and so grounded in that. I would also say like there's so many people that are really big, like a Jay Shetty, for example, who came into the studio by himself, no team, no nothing. Hey guys, how are you? So glad to be here. You know, like thanks so much for having me on. Like the nicest, most like genuine, humble person.
That is so good to hear.
Really a good person. And he's had incredible amounts of success.
I know.
And, you know, we're seeing him in this arena. I assume that he's this way in all arenas, but like that's where we saw him. And he was just gracious and generous in what he shared afterwards with us. Like, okay, so what do you guys want to do? Like, how can I be supportive? So yeah, I'm just like, I'm overall like just blown away mostly by people. Every once in a while it's funky, but like you learn then too.
Oh yeah, you know? Totally. I've had one that was funky. It's so funny that you bring that up. I feel like I don't want to say bigger, but for lack of better word, like the bigger the person that I've interviewed, the more chill and cool. Yes. And like they literally were like, hey, like we're gonna come on. I'm like, okay, do you need this, that? They're like, we're good. Yeah, what time? And I was like, oh,
yeah, no
okay.
frills.
But then the people that were like super young and just starting out and were like, I am the shit, I'm the new guru on the block, made me go through hoops, talk to 15 different assistants, write them like a novel.
It's a generational thing. It's interesting.
And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. I'm like, who are you? And like, you're probably awesome. Like, great. But like, whoa.
I know.
Isn't that interesting how that
happens? It's interesting. And I think like, listen, there are times when like that needs to happen, I guess, by the amount of like requests someone gets or whatever.
Absolutely. Of course.
But yeah, I'm always just like mindful of that, you know, as we've gotten bigger over the years. Like I feel like, we've gotten an assistant, which is like helpful just because like we wouldn't be able to like book things and manage it.
Yeah.
We probably dropped the ball.
Booking all my readings, yes, totally.
But I think the hoops are interesting. It's for us, it's just so important that we energetically connect and that we align on like whether it's like values or like the content and our audience would want it. It's just so that rather than like how many followers do you have and fill out this form and da-da-da. We usually go on like energy of like, this is a right fit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I
love it. Well, that's why it is what it is.
Yeah.
Again, back to your genuine component, like genuine coming out of genuine friendship as well. And now you guys wrote a book like that.
Wrote a book.
Did you write it?
We did. We actually wrote it. I know.
I mean
love
that
saying
with
this.
no, but I mean that with respect because for me, when I do my book, I'm going to
you're going to channel it.
I'm going to transcribe it.
Yeah, of course.
But I am not going to actually sit down and put the pen to paper
shouldn't.
because that's not where my skill lies. So
Totally.
I mean that with respect, like not
it's a
judgment.
It's actually an incredible question that I think I wish people could ask more, but they obviously can't.
I'm like, did you write it? Because if you didn't, I need to know who you worked with.
Yeah.
No, but point is like, I think that's really important for people. You can do something amazing and awesome and admit different parts of your strength.
Yes.
I am writing a book, but I have difficulties on different levels with the actual pen to paper, and that shouldn't stop me.
Nope. And I think what I learned about the process is that there's so many different ways you can do this, and we chose to be a bit more, I would say semi-traditional in the sense, so Krista and I wrote this together.
Yeah.
We alternated chapters, and then
That's cool.
Really fun.
Yeah.
And then we had a book collaborator come in who's basically like our editor that we hire.
Okay.
So an editor at a publishing house, no shade, we love our publisher, but we're not like working with them every chapter along the way. It was more helpful for us to pay someone to be really in the weeds with us and say like, hey, Nikki, we have chapter 2 and 3 ready. We're going to send it to you. Can you look it over, send us notes? What do we need more of, less of? Where can we trim? What can you pull out of us? It was really, really helpful.
So you got a publishing deal before you wrote it.
Correct.
So we
wrote a proposal over the holidays, 2022.
Okay.
And then we like shopped it in the beginning of 2023, and then started writing spring of 23.
So you don't have to have a full book and be like, read my book,
I think
please.
it depends on the genre.
Yeah.
I think for fiction, I think you have to have, unless you're an established author, I think you have to have like a book written so they can be like, okay, is this going to be good? Because to outline a fiction one is a little tricky. But with this, we just tried to make the, what is it called? What did I call it?
The book?
The pitch, the book, the
pitch.
Proposal.
The proposal. It's a book pitch.
Yeah.
I think it's
as
pitch.
like great as possible.
Well, clearly you and Krista have magic together because look what you've done. I mean, clearly you guys work on something together and it happens, right?
Yes. We bring our own.
You had a private person come in, and I ask in detail as well because it's amazing. I think so many people that listen are writers, and many people feel they have a book in them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is huge.
It's possible. I think if you have a book in you, you absolutely have to write the book. And I think what we need to do in our creative life is unplug from all of the like narratives and stories and expectations on social media that say that our creative thing needs to be shared with the world in a certain way.
Yeah.
So, ours was a little bit more traditional in the sense we did get a book deal and we are publishing our book. You listening might want to write a book and self-publish it.
Right. And put it through Amazon. Yes. Amazon will help you self-publish a book.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You might want to write the book and print copies at FedEx and give it to your best friends.
Sure. Yeah.
You might want to write a book and then hang on to it and adapt it to be a play or a TV show.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah, just dream.
Yeah, but you have, if you have something on your heart, you must, but you also must not be so attached to how it comes into the world,
Totally. And like, look how you've lived that, right? You know that you have
a way of connecting with people.
Yeah.
You know you have a way of being in front of the camera and shining and connecting and being a presence, right? And you thought that was through acting, but it was it was through something else.
It's so
and that's
crazy.
so cool.
It is so cool.
That is so cool. So okay, great. So we need to read this book. And when I was reading the synopsis, I haven't read it yet.
I have it in my
You
purse
do?
for you. Yeah.
Will you sign it?
Yeah, of
I want it
course.
signed.
Oh, it's the wrong cover, but you're gonna.
That's
This
okay.
this is gonna be like a collector's item because it's the wrong cover.
Oh my God.
So you'll be able to sell it for millions of dollars
I'm
in a
gonna
few
put
years.
it in plastic. I'm putting it in plastic.
Like a Beanie Baby?
Yes. Or like my grandma's couch.
Yeah, totally.
She had it for like 100 years. It was pristine. You would sit on it, it'd be like like hard
Oh my God,
plastic.
yes, yes, totally.
Oh, the Beanie Babies. I still have Beanie Babies.
I want to know if my parents still have them.
I'm sure they do.
They could
in
probably
their attic.
finish paying their mortgage if
Totally.
they dusted them off.
But I'm really excited to look at it. I read everything and I read the synopsis and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And this is something I wish I had at many different points in my life. So I think whatever stage you're at and wherever you are, I think this is going to serve people so much. So the beginning was about Saturn return. Can you explain that to us? So tell me the title as well.
So the title is Almost 30, A Definitive Guide to a Life You Love for the Next Decade and Beyond.
So good.
And it's, it's inspired by our experience, moving through that time, feeling so alone, so overwhelmed, so not on purpose, and feeling like we should know more and we should have been farther along. Like, what gives, and feeling like our life was honestly like falling apart,
Which you can feel in many different decades, man.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
but that's the whole thing. I think this period of time, which astrologically everybody is moving through your Saturn return in this late 20s portal. And this is a time where Saturn comes back to the same place it was when you were born, in the sky.
Wow.
And Saturn is this, father figure, if you will, taskmaster of sorts. But the planet really asks you to take an honest look at your life, see what is aligned and what is not, see what feels good and what does not, what feels like you and what does not. And it's a really powerful, empowering season if you allow it to be. It can also feel, if you're not aware of how transformational it can be, it can also be really painful. A lot of people experience a pain in their late 20s of, I'm not doing enough, I'm not where I want to be, or like, where's my person, or like, should I move here, or my parents ruined me, like they fucked me up, like there's just so much that can come up. It really is such a ripe time for like a spiritual awakening, or at least one of them.
That's me.
Or
one of them, because we have many, but in very different ways.
Very different ways. Was that the one that like cracked you open, or was
that was late 20s.
Yeah,
that was late 20s.
That makes total sense.
And it was like the whole light went on as a medium.
Yeah,
in a different way. I mean, I had been a medium since birth, but
sure.
In a different way. That is so interesting. And that Saturn return, it's like every time you talk about Saturn return, I just keep seeing a snake and it's just shedding its skin. And it's just like, if you are shedding your skin, it's like, don't grab that old skin. It's going to suffocate you. You have to move forward.
And we can hold on so tight.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, and we start shooting all over ourselves.
Yeah,
it's
I have a whole section in the book about that. We have those shoulds that, like, our parents gave to us, society when we were growing up, like, you should do this, you should be this, you should take this path in order to get to that point. And in your late 20s, it seems that we start to question things. We're like, well, who am I if
who am I?
I'm not an actress? Who am I if I don't define myself by how I look? It's like,
totally.
There are just so many things that come up into question, and it's really just such an opportunity to, rethink about your relationship to just leaning into what you don't know. Because I think we know. In our late 20s, we're like, I know everything about life.
Totally.
Okay? And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what? I actually don't know anything. And what does that mean, that I don't know anything? It actually is an incredible place to be. You know, it just kind of opens up the aperture of like what you can experience in your life.
Yeah.
But at first, it feels like a death. You know, it feels like it's falling apart.
And to have someone go, well, what do you want? And to say like, I don't know. That's a horrible feeling.
Horrible feeling.
But it can be
why?
exciting. Well, because
you know?
you're just
I know
right.
why,
And you're also like, well, if I don't know, what am I working towards? And if I'm not working towards anything, who am I? And what does this all mean? And like, I definitely have been going through that, like, just, I think it's coming back around for me in some ways, like, well, what exactly do you want? And hearing sometimes I don't know. And then just kind of going like, ooh,
okay. I know, same.
So something's emerging.
I'm in that again.
Yes, Lotus. We're emerging, it's opening. And it's like, I don't know exactly. And that's okay.
But that late 20s period, like I had to move through that. And for it to be so hard and so sticky in order to now at 37, when I am kind of like on this precipice of like, I actually don't know what's next, quote, quote, in terms of like career.
Yeah.
I know I want to lean into being a mother and like all the things, but like, I don't know what's next. I don't know. And I'm okay with it, you know, and it feels more exciting rather than suffocating.
And also, if you can live in that moment, like, okay, so what feels really good is like being a mom. And if you can live in that, then something's going to be birthed out of that. But if you're the whole time going, oh, is this right?
Yes.
You're going to miss it. And then you'll miss that light that can come in through the window and serve you.
Exactly.
So where are people going to buy this book?
Anywhere books are sold. It's out June 3rd. You can find it online in bookstores. Nice. We have an audiobook that we just had a blast recording. I think you all are going to love. If you love audiobooks, like, we were just so proud of this.
That's really, really amazing.
Yeah,
like, heartiest congratulations. This is huge what you've created.
Thank you.
I would listen to you talk all day because your voice is so nice. And oh my God, I'm like, sing me a song. She's a marvelous singer. I have gone back to your Instagram and listened to your song that you sang to your husband.
Oh my gosh.
At your wedding. It's pinned. I've listened to it several times. I really have.
That was such
You are a magnificent singer. Like, oh my gosh.
Thank you.
You are multi-talented, seriously.
Thank you.
I wanted to tell you also, they just opened a Barnes & Noble, like, down the street from my house.
Wait, should we do a stop there?
Yeah, I think
we should.
Yeah, I can do anything you need to figure it out. I can try and get people together after for like a lunch.
Is it like... for
a lunch on the main line, like we could do a lunch. We can have books.
Wait, I would love that.
Yeah.
We should do it, like, you should moderate it and just, okay.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, we're planning in real time.
It's cooking. Get your ticket to the suburbs of Philadelphia. Oh my gosh, let's do a whole thing.
That would be fun, because that's where we're going. We're going to Barnes & Nobles in different cities.
Oh, you should definitely come.
So that would be great.
Yeah, it's down the street from my house.
Great.
They're opening all kinds of Barnes & Nobles. So Barnes & Nobles came in and people were like, you're ruining little businesses. And then Amazon ate Barnes & Noble. And now people are like, Barnes & Noble?
I know. Come on back, sister. We're ready for you. We want to be in a bookstore again.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's literally on my street. It's a gorgeous Barnes & Noble.
Okay,
we'll do that and then something after.
Great. Done.
Yeah, a special thing.
Oh, I would love.
And it's Pennsylvania. It's where you're from.
I know.
Bucks
I
County.
have to. I told Krista, I was like, I kind of want to go back home. You know, I want to have a homecoming. Yeah. She's like, does that mean I have to go to Ohio? I was like, yeah, probably.
Yes. She needs to go to Ohio and you're coming to Bucks County.
Yes.
Well, if you're in Bucks County, I'll come there too. But come to the main line and we'll make something really, really special.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah. Done. I love that.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my God. You are a gem.
The best.
I love just being with you, being with your energy, your kindness. You're so incredible and intelligent. I can't wait to read the book.
You.
The book will talk about Saturn return, transition, tools. Yeah. Everything that you guys have put together is spectacular. And you've sat with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Their wisdom's in there too. It's like it's a dynamic read. You know, you're going to get the humor, the stories, but also like deep wisdom that you're like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Needed to hear that.
Well, that wisdom lies in you now. And it's really spectacular. Lucky son you have.
Thank you.
And pending other kids. I just know it.
I'm like, how many, Erica?
You're like, quiet. No, not right now. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah. Now that the book is being birthed, I'm like,
You're like, let's get it going. I think I love close in age. Mine are 17 months apart. It's awesome.
Cool.
It's awesome. Go for it.
Yeah, that's what people
It's
say.
decided. We just decided. Oh my God. Well, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so excited you got to hear Lindsey. Get the book. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to take a picture of it so you guys have it and some pictures of us. I hope you took away, and I know you did so much from this conversation, but remember, if you take nothing else away from this talk, remember, you are not alone. God is with you. Your entire spirit team is with you, and so am I. And I love you. God bless you guys, and we'll talk soon.
Love you.
Take care.
Bye.